Joey the Chihuahua. I've had Chihuahuas my whole life. Chihuahuas are lap dogs by nature. And you might be a dog lover, but not be a lap dog lover. I'm a lap dog lover. I've grown up around this. I enjoy being around, sitting on my lap. And so Joey, almost all the time, wants to be on my lap or Denise's lap. He wants to be in contact with us. Not because he's looking for a treat, although sometimes that happens, but that's not why. You know, I think that sometimes as Christians, we think that if we get close to God, He'll give us a treat. And really, that's the only reason I want to get close to God, is so I can get a treat. Whereas Joey just seems to want to be close to me because he loves me, wants to be around me. Not that Joey could think in these terms, but Joey's not near me so he can get the next treat. Joey's not near me so that he can get out of whatever circumstance he thinks he's in. Joey's near me because he likes me. And the interesting thing about a lap dog, I've noticed, at least Joey and my former lap dog and probably the one before that, is that even when they're fully not on your lap, there's something that is touching you. That's like today I noticed Joey wasn't on my lap, but there's like his little leg was touching my leg. And there's something, it seems like at all times, that even if his full body isn't on my lap, there's something that he just wants to have that connection, and still a part of him touch me. Now, when Paul says the secret to getting through your circumstance in a content nature, the secret is not in you trying harder. It's not in you finding the next biggest thing so that you can get out of it. The secret is by touching Jesus more. The secret is through staying in contact with Jesus. I have found, he says, I have found the secret to contentment is through touching Him throughout the day. And in that touch, He gives me the strength I need to be content. Because content doesn't mean getting out of the circumstance. He's already said this. I've learned that the secret isn't in having plenty, but the secret is through staying in contact, somehow touching Jesus, who is the answer and who is the life. And He's not the treat giver. He is the source of life. And He is the answer. I know that might be disappointing, but I tell you, it is so relieving if you would accept it. That you're not in control of the circumstance, and no amount of Googling is going to get you out of it. Now, there might be some things that Jesus will have you do that might agree with Google. But it always has to start with Him, and He will lead you gently to the things you need to do. But most of it is just simply by touching Him and continuing to touch Him throughout the day. And you've been around, most of you, God, or these types of sermons long enough that you know, or you have an idea of how to get started in this. But I wouldn't spend my time Googling how to get out of your circumstance. I'd spend more time Googling how to get closer to God. or by talking to, myself or Pastor John or, someone that you respect in the faith. That's what I would be concerned with more, is how to get closer to God. So there's numerous ways. For me, each morning I listen to, it's called the Daily Audio Bible. And it's a man who updates it every single day, and he reads through Scripture. He reads through an Old Testament passage, a New Testament passage. He reads through a psalm. He reads through a proverb. And he might read for 10 minutes or so. He talks about it a little bit. It's cool what he has to say, kind of a little message. And that's my morning. I pray. I spend some time going through the topics of the Lord's Prayer. I spend some time in prayer. And this is how, in the very beginning, I used to be, earlier on in the ministry, I used to think I didn't have time to pray or to get in contact with God because I got to do my church things. I have to do like religious things. And I have so many things to do that I don't have time for God. And until I found out that if I don't make time to connect with God and touch God in the morning, it might be till later on in the day till I really even think about God, even in the midst of doing church things and working in a church building. So I touch God in the morning. I also set my watch or my phone schedule for at 2 o'clock and at 5 o'clock. And it just says pray. And that's on my schedule. And I just have it blocked off, and I might only take a minute. I might take 2 or 3 minutes. And then again, I remind myself of the topics of the Lord's Prayer. I go back through that, and what I'm doing, I'm not actually maybe fully on God's lap, but I'm touching God's knee. And I'm touching, and I'm staying in contact at different times during the day. I try it in the evening before I go to bed to make that other touch. Anyway, there are ways that you can do this if you would spend more time Googling or more time asking people that you respect in the faith of how do I get closer to God and stay closer. If you'd spend more time in that, you could actually have strength of God to get through this time and be content regardless of whether or not it's still 2020.